Welcome back to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast brought to you by Violet Defense. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to use the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products or you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of the technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience that you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for sponsoring the Educational AD Podcast. The FIAAA also wants to thank our great diamond sponsor, Varsity Brands, including BSN, Varsity Spirit, and Herff Jones. Varsity Brands, elevating student experiences in sport, spirit, and achievement. The FIAAA also wants to thank our platinum sponsors, including Gipper, sports graphics made incredibly simple. Vital Signs, bring student achievements to life. Hometown Ticketing, simple and easy online ticketing. Camp Mobile, where leaders communicate better. Booster Digital Displays, revolutionize your game day experience. And Ephesus Lighting, innovating a brighter future at every level. Thanks to all of our great sponsors. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest today is Kim Saxton. Kim is a certified athletic administrator, and she's the athletic director at the Ursuline School in New Rochelle, New York. Kim, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Jake. Good morning.
Well, we're very excited to have you on. As I shared with you a while back, we've had Jen Brooks from the Ursuline School in Missouri. We had Susan Noonan from Ursuline in Texas. And so we're just working our way through the Ursuline School. So we're glad to have you on.
Thanks for visiting in New Rochelle.
Yeah. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you grew up, where you went to school and college, and maybe the path that brought you to your present position at the Ursuline School.
Okay, excellent. I grew up in Yorktown Heights, New York, and I went to the Yorktown School District from first grade all the way up until ninth grade. I transferred to the school that I'm currently working at right now, where I'm the athletic director. So I'm an alum of the Ursuline School from 10 to 12. After Ursuline, I went to play collegiate basketball at the University of New Haven. Nothing, I don't want to toot my own horn, but it was pretty decent player, D2. And then to find my pathway here was very different. I definitely went through, my major was business administration and a concentration in sports industry management, which I graduated with an undergrad. So complete opposite of education, never saw myself in the school again. Graduated from New Haven. It was 4 months back at home with mom and dad, which I love and they're in my heart, but 4 years living away and then coming 4 months, I was like, I got to find a job. I have to find a job. My last resort, I had sent out resumes for 4 months straight. And 4 months had came and I had gotten a call from one of my friends. Hey, we have a position opening as a PE teacher. And I said, I love sports. I love kids. I think this would be good. Why not? What do I have to lose? Put my resume in. Within the week, had gotten a call, had gotten the job. And that's how I started out on my educational career. I started at a Judea school at Solomon Schechter in Hartsdale, New York. started my teaching career there, and I was 7 years there as the PE and health teacher. And then I went to Peekskill, where I was the PE chair and the assistant athletic director there. I was there for 9 years. And then I'm here at this wonderful school trying to give back to a place, an institution that has poured so much into me. And I'm currently at Ursuline for now 2 years of the most exciting, thrilling years of my life.
I always love to hear the stories. And again, I think it's so cool for coaches or ADs that can come back and, build a career where they went to high school. I remember my first year out of college, I was substitute teaching, after sending out well over 100, resumes, trying to get that job. And I remember walking into the faculty room at lunch when I was substituting at my old high school. And here's all my old teachers, my old coaches, and they turn around and they go, "You're a teacher?"
Yes.
So great journeys that we have. Kim, in our profession, we always talk about the importance of leadership and particularly mentorship. So I'm curious, who are some of your mentors, either maybe parents or family members, or maybe teachers and coaches that you had? The expression I like to use is, I still hear those voices in my head after all these years. So whose voice do you still hear?
Well, ultimately, the voice that I hear every day, and I'm thankful for it, is the man above, God himself. So he's my ultimate mentor. And I'm so glad to call him my father. So definitely God would definitely be my first and definite mentor. But on our earthly standpoint, definitely my parents. They have been huge supporters and just advocates for me. And I probably wouldn't be in the place that I am if it wasn't truly for them. They are my heart. They are my world. I know I'm 39 years old, but I will automatically, they are my parents. They always instilled great ethics in me, and just the person that I am. So definitely tribute them to be my mentors. A couple of ADs previous that I worked in, like internships and things. Lou Panzanero, veteran of Peekskill. He was the AD there for several years. He really honestly got me involved with the AD, and he was like, "Do you really want to do this, Kim? You sure?" And I said, "Yes, absolutely." And another one of my mentors would be Adam Lodewick. He was at Peekskill and now at Fox Lane district, where I can just always call on him and bounce things off, and just a great guy that I could just speak to and just learn from veteran athletic directors.
Mhm. No, I think it's so cool that you have those mentors that you mentioned, growing up and starting out, and you can still reach out to them. They're still available to you. Kim, I mentioned that you were a CAA, a Certified Athletic Administrator.
Yes,
And
I am.
we've got a lot of younger ADs that listen to the podcast, and I think it's important for them to hear those steps of getting involved at the state level, getting involved with the LTI program. So, kind of share your story. How did you first get involved, and that process, that path leading up to earning your CAA?
Okay. I am, don't tell anybody, but I'm a nerd on the low. I love to learn. I am always trying to stay current with the times and things like that. So I felt as if that doing the LTI and the LTC courses would be the best way to be the most effective and efficient athletic administrator as possible. So having that opportunity to do that, and having that opportunity to do that via Zoom and workshops and things like that was even better. It's definitely one of those great things. A little bit different when you're in the national conferences and you're there face to face. Obviously, it's different, but still a wonderful opportunity that we were able to do. And I thank God that we were able to do it this year too. Um, be able to take a course even from you, which was amazing. So I just felt as if, and I believe in gaining as much knowledge as you can get, and just staying as current with the time. So when you are navigating and being a novice in this wonderful field that we're in, it's great to have as much knowledge and information as possible. So these courses are taught by CMAAs and, just people with vast information that you can just tap into and plug into. So I said, this is great. This is wonderful. Let's do this. I sat out and I decided to get the RAA, which is the Registered Athletic Administrator. Started out with that. And then that builds from there, where you, the same prerequisites, you build on there, and then you have to do some more things to be a CAA. And you also have to come out with a comprehensive multiple choice exam, which is so much fun. But it definitely rewarding once you pass and things like that. It's definitely nerve wracking, but truly, if you're an athletic director, you truly have more of the knowledge and the experience than you really think. So please do not get down on yourself. You are definitely prepared for that exam. I'm currently going to work on the next step, because if I started something, I have to finish it. So I'm going to definitely work on getting my CMAA now. So wish me luck. Pray for me.
Oh, I don't have to wish you luck. I know you're going to be very successful. And as a longtime member of the certification committee, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say great job and continue to get that. Have you chosen a project for your CMA project yet?
I haven't yet. I haven't narrowed it down as of yet. But I'm thinking it's going to be something that, again, staying current with times, thinking of something that's influential right now. I'm not for sure what that's going to be, but I know when I do get that inkling that it'll be pretty fantastic. And I'll probably be calling on you as well, just to run it by you.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. And again, we tell the candidates all the time, you're probably doing something right now at your school with your students, with your coaches, with your parents, with facilities. You're doing something that would make a great project. It doesn't have to be some earth-shattering new development. Make it special for you, make it special for your school. Right?
Amen.
For our listeners, we're recording this on May 24th, and this is probably going to be the final month where I ask our guests this type of question. We're well past that 1-year anniversary of COVID. And Kim, we've seen just a wide variety of responses across the country. Some states never got back to athletics. Some, like Florida, had a short delay, and then pretty much business as usual, and everything in between. So real quickly, how did New York respond to COVID, and what's going on right now as far as return to sports as well as return to play for the Ursuline School?
Okay, excellent. So our preseason 2020 was definitely, fall preseason was definitely pushed back, just for maybe about a couple of weeks or so. And at first we had the high risk levels. So the high risk sports were either on hold and they got pushed back to, say, the May 1st, which actually ended up being, I'm sorry, not May, March 1st, and which really ended up being March 8th. But truly, in a nutshell, not to bore you with this, it was it was pushed back for a couple of weeks, with a lot of protocols, a lot of procedures, a lot of guidelines that we had to put in place. So not just only having one coaches meeting, I had several coaches meeting just to make sure that everyone was on the same page. We were following the same protocols. We were doing, coming up with just different ways to keep our student athletes as giving them the most authentic season as possible and keeping them safe and healthy as possible. So It took a lot of planning, definitely a lot of being organized and making sure that everyone understood and followed all of the protocols. So truly it's really been business as usual, except for some of the sports, like I said, that were in the fall, like cheer, um, volleyball, and well, those are the ones that we have, were then pushed back into that fall season too. And I said swim. So those would be the ones that were definitely pushed back because of either the facilities, because nobody was renting out pools, or just because it was high risk and we didn't know what this virus could do at that time. So truly now it's kind of really back to business as usual. We're still wearing masks. The girls are still wearing masks on the fields, the courts, the while running, the track meets, everything. We go by the DOH, so we don't go by CDC. So I know that CDC is getting more relaxed and things like that. But again, we're trying to keep the health, the wellness, and safety of our student athletes, because truly it's all for them.
I'm so glad you talked about, following the protocols, because, when we were starting back, and I've heard the same thing from ADs across the country, the message was, hey, let's do this. Let's not mess it up, for the kids. Nobody wants
Absolutely.
to experience what we all experienced last spring.
Yeah.
Everything was shut down and those kids lost, their entire season. So,
Or even winter, where we were going into regional play in less than 48 hours of kind of us being in the red zone, you know what I mean, and everything. So I mean, just being thankful that we were actually able to get through all 4 seasons.
yeah.
I mean, it was definitely fast. It was fast, it was condensed, but I'm just thankful that the girls were able to go out and do something that they loved and passionate about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. We are visiting with Kim Saxton, Athletic Director at the Ursuline School in New Rochelle, New York. We're going to take a very quick break and hear from our podcast sponsor, Violet Defense. The FIAAA wants to thank Violet Defense for being our podcast sponsor. Violet Defense is dedicated to protecting our world from germs by bringing the power of UV disinfection to everyday spaces. Their patented technology enables them to harness the power of the sun to incorporate ultraviolet light into products and environments like never before. Whether you're ready to implement existing products or you'd like to explore researching and developing a custom deployment of the technology for your school, Violet Defense has the solutions and the experience that you need. Thanks again to Violet Defense for sponsoring the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back to the Educational AD Podcast. We're visiting with Kim Saxton, Certified Athletic Administrator from the Ursuline School in New Rochelle, New York. Kim, one of the things we try to do with the podcast is this idea of sharing best practices. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What are a couple of initiatives at your school that when you step back and take a look at, you can say with equal parts pride and humility, boy, we really do a great job with this. What are a couple of best practices you can share?
You are, but definitely putting me on the spot, Jake. Trying to think. That is a really good question. You might have stumped me, but I'm not, I cannot think of something right now, but something that I would like to implement into the future would be like a big little program where in our athletic program, a lot of our younger athletes and some of the athletes that go through the APP process that are definitely, in 7th or 8th grade that can play at the higher level, they don't know how to advocate for themselves, or they do not know who to speak to or who to ask advice or anything like that. So having a program where they would have almost a big sister. So they would have a big sister or a big buddy or whatever you would want to call it. And that would be either on varsity would team up with JV, where varsity could now be the big and JV would be the little. And then JV then would be the big to the modified. So just so that we had this cohesiveness and being able to share experiences and to understand, and also to form that line of looking up to the older players and saying, wow, I want to be just like them, and to still continue on through our program. So that's something that I'm looking to implement coming this coming year. So that's one thing that I would like.
No, and I think that's great. In our programs, I think you're probably like our school, a K through 12 program where you've got, the different levels.
We have 6. We're actually 6 through 12.
12.
Yeah.
But we've done things like that where we've had our varsity athletes, say boys basketball or girls basketball, actually coach that 6th grade basketball team, for example, or soccer team. And it's maybe 1 hour or even a half an hour prior to their practice, a couple days a week. So it's not an everyday thing, but just doing a circuit of skills, letting the little kids see the big kids out there in their uniforms, yes. Kind of that branding and hero worship at an early age.
Absolutely.
It really, really has paid off.
So you know what, just because you just said that, because we haven't had the opportunity to have that many modified sports this year because of space and how condensed it was, we did clinics. Mm-hmm. So giving them more opportunities than what we actually offer as a program. And that's something that we started implementing. We would have one of the coaches, whether it be the varsity coach, JV coach, or even the modified coach, or even just someone that knows the sport, but we had some of the players come and act as assistant coaches. So just helping out and things like that. So that is, you know what, thank you for even saying that, because that just sparked that right there. We usually have that on every Saturday for at least 2 hours. We split it up for those modified, the 6th through 8th groups. So that is something that I will continue to do, because I think that that's truly, truly great. Even if we don't continue to have a modified program, those clinics, it's been well received.
You know what you just described? You just described your CMAA project.
Seriously?
Okay. We can talk about that later. Okay.
All right.
Kim, another question I've been asking the athletic directors since we started this almost a year ago revolves around this idea of social awareness, social justice. And I know it's a broad category, but my question has been this. From your perspective, what are some things that we as athletic directors, what are some things that we can do better for our kids, our schools, our programs? How can we do a better job being socially aware?
I think just having the conversations is the first start. That's the catalyst to everything, where being able to have these uncomfortable conversations, or sparking those conversations that will be very thought-provoking and makes certain people or anyone where you have that self-reflection. Did I ever do this to someone? Did I ever make someone else feel this way? Or did I ever say these things but not understand that it was offensive? It could be anything. It could be sexual orientation. It could be race. It could be creed. It could be religion. Whatever it is, just being able to have those uncomfortable conversations, I believe, is key. And just that, taking that step to trying to be different and trying to be better is definitely a great step in the right direction, because there's a lot of individuals that feel as if that, this is what they know and this is all that they know, but they don't know of something that's might be different, or a different way, because they've not been subject to it. So I think just having those conversations where you can sit in those uncomfortableness, and just to say, how can I be better? How can I do this better? How can I be a better person? So I think it just starts with one. If you're going to be a better person, that's one less person that is going to offend or hurt or, be bad in our society. It starts with us first. It starts with us and modeling. My biggest thing is I try to model as good of behavior and the way that we want our student athletes to respond to things. So if I respond in an inappropriate way, what are my student athletes going to see? Because they're only going to see what I'm doing, and they're going to think that it is okay. So if I say something that is uncanny or inappropriate, they think that the door is open for them to do that. So I try to model as best as possible and ask questions. If I don't know something, I'm the first person to say, you know what? Hold on, let me get back to you. Let me figure this out, or let me go find somebody and figure it out.
No, I'm so glad you shared that, that willingness to learn, that willingness to, change, to get better, and then just, communicate, great stuff. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Let's go and lighten things up a little bit.
Okay.
I always ask, what's your favorite part of your job? And I know job is not always the best word to describe what we do.
Yes.
After about 70 or 80 interviews, the answer was almost always the same. Oh, well, I just love the kids. And we acknowledge, yes, that we do love the kids that we get to work with. But beyond that, what's something that gets you excited about coming to school each day at Ursuline?
Well, each day is different. And that's what keeps me on my toes. I love that I can walk in, I can have my list of things to do, may not get to them because there's something else maybe waiting for me or something else more precedent that I need to get to. But truly the thing that I love about being an athletic administrator is that I'm surrounded by my passion, which is sports. I've played every sport that you can possibly think of. Every sport that you could think of, except for I did not swim, I didn't do rugby, and I didn't do football. Everything else I have done. So to get up in the morning, to be surrounded by athletics, sports, and you say it's a job, but I kind of feel like I'm getting away with something. Like, is this really work? But
we get
there
paid
are certain
to do this. Wow.
I mean, yes. I mean, certain days I'm like, yes, you guys got those hours out of me, but 98% of the time, I'm living the dream. I know it sounds corny, but truly, I'm living a dream, and I could not be more grateful to be in the position that I am in.
That's living the dream. If you've seen me online, that's my catchphrase. So great stuff. Okay. Kim, I know we've traded some tweets and some emails, but this has just been so cool sitting down and visiting with you. But we're not done yet. We always like to wrap up with what we call the athletic director's toolbox. Now, you've been around the block a little bit as an AD, but right now I'm going to challenge you to send out a brand new athletic director on their very first job. But I'm only going to let you put 3 things in their toolbox.
Okay.
What 3 items are going to go in Kim Saxton's athletic director toolbox?
Okay. First thing, absolute first thing, I would say organizational skills. That is my first tool wrench that's going to go in there. I believe that with that organizational skills, that is half the battle right there, truly. If you are organized and everything has its place, or you know where things are, you're able to get back, you're able to document those type of things. So definitely organizational skills. 2, I believe that being a good communicator and being able to follow up. That would be another tool that I would put in there. Being a good communicator. Just you're really kind of sometimes the face of your school, not just athletics, your school, because athletics is so a part of the community where just building relationships and communicating effectively what your philosophy, what expectations to your coaches, to your student athletes, to our spectators. That would be my second tool. My third tool would be something that I'm trying to work on right now, creating boundaries, where we have, sometimes I don't know when to turn off, where our job is we're always on, always on Saturday, Sunday, you know, after hours when everyone is, you know, having a dinner and things like that. We still may be at a game or a meet or, you know, anything, a cheer competition. So being able to separate and have the time where you can take care of yourself and really take care of yourself, to say, hey, I will get to this tomorrow. And if it's not on fire, if it's not life or death, it can go until tomorrow. Just having those boundaries where you are not sending those 2 a.m. Emails and texts. So just having those boundaries. So organizational skills, having being a good communicator, and also being able to follow up, because that's key, and setting boundaries.
Great suggestions. And that last one about boundaries, our upper school head always talks about balance, you know, the balance between academics and activities and home life for students. And then he also throws that in there for the faculty and staff as well. You know, you got to find that balance or nothing's going to work for you. Kim, it has been just great listening to you. If one of our listeners wants to reach out and pick your brain a little bit, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Oh, email. Like I said, those emails, they come in, I get them. I try not to answer them all at once, but definitely email's my best way to get to me. Would you like me to say my email, or would you?
Yeah, whatever email is the best one they can reach you at.
Beautiful. Okay, so it would be Saxton, Saxton, K as in kite, at Ursuline. I'll spell that out. Ursuline, Rochelle. That's LE.org. So that's Saxton at UrsulineRochelle.org. That is the best way. And please, at any time, if anybody wants to reach out or has anything to say, any questions, like I said, if I don't know them, I'll find them out for you. But this is what it's about. Each one teach one. So.
And they can probably also connect with you on the NIAAA portal. I think
Yes.
the contact information is there as well. Kim Saxton, thanks again. All the best.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Looking forward to seeing a draft of that CMAA project we'll say a couple of months. How's that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To our listeners, remember the Zoom recordings of these interviews are also being uploaded to the FIAAA Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. So take a look at them on YouTube. We appreciate you listening. Come back again next time for another episode of the Educational AD.